Alright guys, welcome back to Casting Lots Board Gaming. I haven't done a video in a while, but I have been considering doing this video for a little while. So I have a new addiction, and that new addiction is the Final Fantasy trading card game. So you guys, if you know me, you know that I love Final Fantasy games. I own almost every single one. The only ones I don't own are the ones that are online only, like 11 and I think it's 14. But as you can see over here, I got this big box. So I've been starting to collect these things. And a little backstory, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot. A couple of friends in junior high and high school, we collected all kind of cool Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And we would do a lot of the battles, the duels back and forth with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And it was really fun, the deck building aspect of a TCG, of a trading card game, which was really cool. But I recently... I didn't actually know there was a trading card game. I started looking up like Final Fantasy board games on Amazon, and I started seeing some things on this Final Fantasy TCG. So I bought a big bulk box. I would suggest if you want to get into it, it's okay to buy the big bulk box, but a lot of times what people do is they buy these things, they pull out all the good cards, and then they send you bulk of a bunch of trash cards. This one was actually pretty good. It was on eBay, and it was like $8.99 for 125 cards, and it was guaranteed, like so many rares and so many legendaries and heroic cards from each, for each group you bought. And I think I bought like 9 batches of those, so somewhere around whatever it was, 1,200 cards, for like $100. And I figured it was a good starting point. And what that allowed me to do was to get in, explore all the different elements, and explore all the different aspects of each element in each type of card, so that way I could kind of go forward with a broader view of it and go, okay, this is what I want to focus on, or this is the style of play that I like. But this is the first TCG that I've done on the channel, and you guys are going to want to stick around for the score, because you know me, I don't like giving perfect scores, but spoiler alert. So first of all, I'm going to start off, I'm going to pull, I'll go over it when I get to it. So quality, I'm going to call the quality on this, and this is the best card quality I have ever seen in a card. I mean, the back of these things, I don't know if you can see it in the picture. The back of these things almost looks like a plastic, like a credit card material, which is crazy. These things look like they would hold up, not sleeved. They look like they would hold up for 30 years of play. I mean, you're going to get some wear and tear on a card, like on the edges or whatever, but this is a really, really high quality card material, which is awesome. They got a good thickness to them. But like I said, on the back, they almost have this like a plasticky feel. I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds like those little 3D cards you used to get at like Sonic, in the meal, and you could turn it and it would show different things. But the card quality is amazing. It's really, really good. Now, I don't normally sleeve things. I did buy some sleeves for these because in comparison, if you look at something like Dominion or, ISS Vanguard, Star Realms, we all know the Star Realms card quality. But things like that all the cards are worth the same amount. They're just, you buy the pack, it comes with all the same cards. But a trading card game or a collectible card game type of thing, certain cards are going to be worth more, certain cards are going to be worth less. So in that situation, as you're building a deck, you're going to have a deck that's worth $30, $40, $50, $60, potentially. And in a situation like that, I feel better sleeving it. I just got this little cheap pack of sleeves off of, it was 500 of these black back regular card sleeves off of Amazon, and it was like $14. And they work really well. The cool thing is you can do that, you Magic the Gathering players will know what I'm talking about, the mash shuffle, where you take half the deck and just basically press it into the other half. And with the sleeves on there, you're able to do a really good shuffle like that. So, but yeah, card quality is amazing. Obviously, this is a card-only game, so we don't have all kinds of other, equipment and materials. Complexity, I'm going to call medium to high. This is one of those fairly easy to learn, but really difficult to master type of things. When you first start out, I always recommend, you don't have to do what I did and buy this big bulk amount. there are starter decks all over the place. If you like Final Fantasy VII, there's multiple starter decks for that. There's Final Fantasy, I think there's a Cecil versus Golbez from the older ones, and then there's like a Final Fantasy IX starter set. There's a Final Fantasy X starter set. There's a Final Fantasy 14. There's a 13. There's a 15. There's all these different ones, and I think they're coming out with some more. Each year they come out with a new set of these cards, and they normally release a couple of starter decks that go along with that. So what that'll do is give you a 50 card deck, which is the deck has to be 50 cards, but it'll give you a 50 card deck that's pre-constructed. There'll be some cool starter cards in there, which is stuff that you can't really get anywhere else other than the starter sets. So that's a really cool thing. It'll give you some unique cards, and it'll give you a good synergy between your cards. Each starter set is going to be 2 elements out of the 6. There's 6 main elements. It's going to be fire, ice, wind, earth, lightning, and water. And then you do have 2 other elements, which is light and dark, but those are kind of separate because they're a little unique. So when you get those starter deck, they're going to come with 2 of those elements, whether it's fire and ice, or fire and water, or lightning and earth, or wind and whatever, wind and lightning. So there's various ones. I would say if you're starting out, do what a lot of people in forums and stuff say to do, and find a good starter set that you like. Like maybe if you're a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, get a Final Fantasy VII starter deck. If you're a fan of 13, get a 13 starter deck. The other one I would highly recommend are the anniversary sets, and that's going to be, there's a 2022 anniversary, and then there's a 2023 anniversary, and I think there's a new 2024 anniversary coming out, or it's out now, but it's kind of pricey at the moment. I think I paid 40 something for the 2023, and then 40 something. My dog's licking himself under the table. And then 40 something for the 2022. And the anniversary sets are going to come with some really cool cards. They're going to come with some really strong cards that are like staples to a good deck. So those are definitely worth picking up and getting into your collection. What's really cool is once you get a good selection of cards together, you can go through, and I would almost say that's over half of the fun of a TCG like this, is building your deck. I mean, sitting in here, laying some cards out with your deck, going, okay, I got this amount of this element, this amount of this element. Do I want to go mono element with one, just fire, or do I want to do just lightning or just earth? Or do I want to do a mix of a couple? My main deck right now that I'm running is fire, ice, and wind, which is cool because each one has its own strengths and weaknesses. The fire decks are normally like hard hitting, but they're low defense. They're focusing on doing damage. The ice decks are all about debilitating your opponent's cards, which is like freezing your opponent's cards and making them unable to play on their turn. And then the wind cards there's a lot of quick play type of things because wind being quick. Earth is like a good. It focuses on a couple of different keywords like brave, which is going to allow your cards to stay upright after you attack, which means that they can defend on your opponent's turn. Lightning is kind of a quick, fast, hard-hitting deck, and then water is kind of like ice. It's like a manipulative deck toward your opponent. You're going to be, trying to get cards into your hand. You're going to be having them discard and different things. It's kind of manipulating. So there's all these different strengths and weaknesses for the different elements, but it's definitely worth it to have a decent amount of cards for each element so you can go through and choose. I tend to play very aggressively, so I like the fire, ice, and wind, and I don't have a lot of ice cards, but I have a lot of fire and wind cards. So those are going to be, using haste, which if you're familiar with that concept, it's from the Final Fantasy games. It allows you to play, like in haste, it makes your bar go, in the games, it makes your bar go faster so that you can, attack faster. So basically it works the same way in here. When you have haste on the card, you're going to be able to attack with that card or use abilities off that card immediately when it comes out, instead of having to wait until the next turn like you normally would. Replayability, obviously, it's super high because there's all these different cards. They're shuffled every time. You're constantly building on your deck. I don't like these. I'm going to take these out. I'm going to put these cards in. So it's something that's super cool to, like I said, in complexity, going through and changing the deck and doctoring it up and getting some new cards and putting them in there. The rating is everyone. Final Fantasy games are always everyone. There's nothing in there, you know. You have the occasional scary thing with some bad guy that's, you know, all dark with horns and he looks like the devil. But the rating, I mean, everybody can play these. Score, I'm going to give it. Now I say a 10, which I do not give. This is my first 10 I've ever given. The only thing that might knock that down a hair, and it's not the game's fault, is if you are not a Final Fantasy fan, you're probably going to be less likely to be able to get into this because you don't know a lot of the characters and the cards and things like that. Let me use an example here. So let me pull out my main deck. So you got this is Cecil from Final Fantasy IV. So you have these really cool cards, and you're gonna look at these. And here's Warrior of Light. You're gonna look at some of these things and go, "Oh, that's super cool." You know, I remember that character from so and so game. Here's a good one, Shantoto, which I think is from no, that's from 11, one of the online ones. So there's all these different really cool art. Like the art is really, really cool. And then they have these holographic cards here that are gonna, I don't know if you can see it, the holographic Warrior of Light. So they have a really cool holographic card on there. Trying to think of some different ones. Squall, if you're a big fan of Final Fantasy VIII like I am, you got this cool Squall card here. And the art is awesome. Now what's cool is they have, so on a card, you will have, well, let me use Cecil. So on a card, at the top, you're going to have your card name. And then to the left of that, you're going to see the 5 and then the green. So that's going to indicate that it's a 5 cost wind card. And then down here, it's going to show what type of card it is, whether it's a forward, a backup, a summon, or a monster. And each one of those go in different places on your field, and it's going to do different things on your turn, or not on your turn as well. And then you have your category, which right here, it's hard to see. It says DFF4. So that's going to mean it's what game it's from, which is Dissidia, Final Fantasy, and also 4. So, and then at the bottom on your forwards, you're going to see this power right here, which is 8,000. So that's going to indicate the power ranking of this card. So that's his attack, that's his defense, and how much health he has, basically. So when you're in a battle, say if you have this guy out and you have somebody else on the other side of the field, one of your opponents, you can say, hey, I'm going to attack with Cecil, and you would dull him when you attack with him, and they can choose whether or not they want to block with a card, or if they want to just take that damage to their life. And the goal of the game is to do 7 points of damage to your opponent, and then you win. So there's a lot of strategy involved. Like if you have multiple attackers out or multiple forwards out, and say they have a couple of forwards out as well, there's situations to where you might not want to block with these forwards. You might want to save these. So instead, on top of your deck, you're going to go, okay, well, I'd rather not block with these when they attack with somebody. I'm going to take the damage. And then you would flip over the top card of your deck, and that's your damage, and it goes over to the side. And when you get 7 of these over here, you lose. So there are certain situations, and it's very common. I do it too. When you go to play at the beginning of the game, you're like, hey, I don't want to lose these cards I just put out. So I'm going to just take this damage whenever they attack. So that way I can keep my cards out instead of blocking with them and it ends up killing them. So there is some strategy there where you have to choose. Like I said, you have forwards, backups, and summons, and monsters. So the summons are like quick play things, or magic or trap if you're used to Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. So you'll be able to play these out of your hand, and they immediately go to your break zone, which is your discard pile. Those some different summons you can play, and they do different things. And then you have your backups, which are going to go closest to you on the board. Your different backups will go here, and say your forwards will go like in the second slot. So the backups, when they come onto the field, they're going to come onto the field dull. But on your turn, you'll get back and you can activate them. And you can dull these to generate a CP, which is part of this cost, the 4 cost on the Onion Knight, which means I have to generate 4 CP in order to play this card onto the field. And one of those CP, because it's fire, one of those CP has to be of that fire color. If I'm trying to play ice card, like this knight here, 2 CP, but one of them has to be ice. You can't use 2 fire CP to put down an ice card, so you have to be kind of strategic with your elements. The other part of this is kind of a hand management, I would say, because say you have your 5, whatever, you have 5 cards in your hand, and you want to play one of these. So in order to play one of these, you can discard from your hand to generate 2 CP, which is crystal points, of that specific element. So if I discard this knight, who is ice, I can generate 2 CP ice, and I can play this knight onto the field. So I did discard one, but at the same time, I had to use it. You know, you lost that card, but you were able to get one onto the field. So different things like that are comes into the hand management part of it. But there's all kinds of cool stuff. It's pretty cheap to get into. I would say you can get starter decks for $15, $20, $25. So it's not super expensive, and that starter deck will get you going. Like, that's the whole deck. You can start playing immediately. There are some 2-player starter sets, the Noctis versus Arden from 15, and then the Cecil versus Golbez from, I think it's 4. I haven't played the old ones. But all the different starter decks, you have single starter decks, and then you have the double starter decks, which comes with 2 50-card decks. So you and a friend or whoever can immediately take these decks out of the box and immediately start playing. So that's really cool because they give you a right out of the box play thing. I definitely recommend, if you're, once you get a starter set or the anniversary, go on to tcgplayer.com and go check out. They have singles on there. You can go buy singles. You can actually buy the starter sets and the anniversary kits on TCG Player as well. And most of the time, they're going to be a little bit cheaper. Sometimes they're more, but it depends. Just go check it out and compare it to like Amazon or eBay or whatever. And find you a good starter set that you like. I do want to note that the anniversary sets all come with a starter deck built into them. So the 2022 anniversary comes with one. The 2023 anniversary comes with one. And my main deck that I just got done showing you, the Fire, Ice, and Wind, is actually built around the Dissidia anniversary box, which is the 2023 box. So definitely go pick those up. Like I said, I don't give a lot of 10s, but this it's definitely deserving. It's something that I've been stuck on for weeks now. Ask anybody that knows me, or all I talk about is Final Fantasy TCG. There are Discord servers. I actually have a Casting Lots board game Discord server that I just came up with, that I created. So it's got tables in there where we can actually play some games like Star Realms and a couple other things. You can actually play over the Discord, and it's basically like a video chat with Discord that you can play in there. So definitely go check out that. I'm going to try to figure out, I'm not technologically inclined with all this new crap like Discord and everything, but I'm going to try to put a link to the Discord in the video, in the description or whatever, so that way you can go check it out. But definitely try this. It's a really cool game. It's really fun. A lot of cool cards, a lot of cool art. You're definitely going to be, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you're going to be thumbing through these cards and you're going to say, oh my goodness, that is the coolest art I've ever seen. Like, some just really cool stuff from all the different games. So definitely pick it up. Definitely try it out. Like normal, like and comment on the video. Let me know how you liked it. Share it if you want to. And again, if I can figure out how to do it, I'm going to put a link to the Discord. So Final Fantasy TCG, a 10 out of 10. We'll see you next time on Casting Lots Board Gaming. God bless.